Lesson 3. In this lesson we'll learn how we can record pupils working below the current year's expectations and how we can use the mark sheets to quickly display the results from previous terms. Plus we'll show how we can enter some results for spring term and, usefully, how we can delete grades entered in error. From the home page, choose the new Programme of Study icon here or use Focus, Assessment, Programme of Study Tracking. Choose Maths, Place Value and Year 2. In the previous lesson we entered data for the autumn term, here. This time we'll choose the spring term and press Populate. I'm just going to hide the summary rows by clicking here, so we can see here that the grades we entered last term are redisplayed. But because we've moved on to the spring term, they're displayed as a slice of colour. This is useful because we can base this term's assessment on what they achieved last time. The slice colour indicates the last assessment, regardless of which term it was entered. So if we entered an assessment in the autumn half term, but forgot or didn't want to enter an assessment at the end of the autumn term, here in the spring term we would see the grade and colour we gave in the autumn half term. One issue that many schools are reporting when introducing the new curriculum is that many pupils are still working below the current year's curriculum. For example, some of these Year 2 pupils might be working within the Year 1 curriculum. You can display the statements from the previous year's curriculum by going to the Show or Hide drop down here and choosing Statements for Previous Year. The extra statements are displayed in front of the current statements, but notice that the column headers have this white triangle symbol to indicate that they are the previous year's curriculum. Similarly, if your pupils are racing ahead and you're teaching next year's curriculum, you can choose Show or Hide and then select Statements for next year. I'm going to turn off the display of other year statements for now to keep things simple for this lesson, but if appropriate, you can keep them on. We can now add some grades for our pupils for the spring term. A bit of revision. Remember, you can enter grades by right-clicking the cell and choosing Enter Grade for Cell, or you can type directly into the keyboard, or you can right-click a column heading and choose a grade for the whole column. For example purposes, I'm going to say that some of our pupils have already mastered certain parts of the curriculum, even though that might be a little optimistic this early in the year. Okay, I've entered some new grades and pressed the Save button. Let me just digress for a moment and show you how to delete data. If you enter the wrong grade, just overtype it, simple enough. But if you enter data into a cell where no data should have been entered, here's how to remove the grade completely. Right-click the cell, choose View/Edit Result History, and from the screen that's displayed, choose the grade and press the red cross here. We've now got some good data to play with in the next lesson, but for now, to finish off lesson 3, let's just have a look at this term drop-down menu in the top left corner of the new mark sheets. Click on it and you'll see all the terms for this year plus all the terms for last year too. This drop-down is a very useful way of looking back and seeing what each pupil had achieved by each assessment point. Click on the entry called TP Year 2 Autumn Term and you'll see the grades we entered in the last lesson. Okay, that's it for lesson 3. In the next lesson we'll show you how to add extra columns like registration group and pupil premium indicator, and how to use those extra columns to filter the list of pupils. Then we'll have a look at the difference between programme of study and school expectations, and we'll see how easy it is to analyse pupil progress towards these expectations.